I want to know about your influences. What are some of the films or filmmakers or anyone dead or alive who's kind of like been a thing or someone you've seen that kind of pushed you towards this path?
Yeah. Man, I think one of the biggest influences for me was Moonlight by Barry Jenkins. Yeah, I think like I don't think any film is perfect, obviously, but I think I learned a lot the first time I watched it, and I watched like 4 or 5 in theaters when it came out, and I think for me it really opened up the question of what is masculinity, you know, and made me start to realize that there isn't just one interpretation of that. Um, and so it really shaped my own self image and the way that I viewed my development throughout life and how I became like the man that I am today, and what that means, especially within our culture. Um, because in that movie, you see the character Little go throughout his life questioning whether he's gay or not, and then also living in the hood and trying to figure out how he, as a black man, can exist and safely exist in that universe. Um, and you see him all the way until he becomes this adult who has this outward exterior that people often see as like threatening or as hostile, and there's so much softness trapped within that person that is like trying to get out. And so I think the way that Barry Jenkins sort of like weaves that narrative and shows the audience without like hitting us over the head with it. It's very just like vulnerable and beautiful and subtle, and you see all of the things throughout a person's life that can cause them to get to where they are, and you start to understand all the different factors and influences and pressures that we have on us to be a certain way, And I think that entire movie just says like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I can be whatever I want, however I want to be it, and love whoever I want.
All right, what are your top 5 or top 3? Let's say just top 3.
Okay, top 3 would have to be Moonlight.
Yeah.
Okay. So hard. Dos Estaciones by Juan Pablo Gonzalez. Really, really good feature film. It's basically about a woman who owns like a tequila farm, and the agave starts to like catch like a disease, and the crop starts dying, and she starts getting really desperate as to what to do about the situation. And she hires like a young woman to sort of be her secretary and like help her out throughout this time. And you start to see this woman in a way like sort of long for this other woman, and like exploring her love and like sexuality at like an older age. Like she's a doña, like she owns like a giant distillery, like she has a position of power. And even in that film, like she's so scared to be vulnerable. And little by little, you see her open up, and I love how like slow pace, like slow burn. I think that's something that I start to realize about like what inspires me is just like being able to sort of maintain that energy throughout a narrative. So I love that movie. And then third would probably be Where To from 1957. It's like an old black and white Lebanese film. I saw this for the first time in like 2021. And it's basically about like a Lebanese father who leaves his family to go to Brazil to work and to like give his family a better life. And over like the weeks and months and years, you start to realize that the family has not heard back from the father, and they start to wonder if he's dead or if he just like left them. And it sort of just really paints that picture of like people leaving their home country and like leaving a bad situation and going to another country and sort of getting into another bad situation. It's like leaving one hell to go to another hell. And I think oftentimes like we have this sort of myth of like the American dream, right? It's like you come here for a better life and it's like guaranteed to be better. But that isn't always necessarily the case. It's not this shiny land of like riches and opportunity. And it's very ugly. I think that movie really depicts that very well.
I need to dig into this. It's getting cold.
These flautas smack.
Mm.
And I think that's sort of the beauty of like really looking at where you come from and like understanding sort of different versions of that universe that can exist. You know, like the bear exists in so many other universes in so many different ways. Like,
and also
there are like food trucks that are started by people. You know, there's also like the taco stand. You know, like that this person started who just got to this country. You know what I mean? Like there are like so many different versions of that story. There's like, you know, Mexicans working in like 5-star restaurants, like Michelin star restaurants under like enormous amounts of pressure and like rules and like all this shit. So it's like, yeah, I think there's more than enough room to keep telling that story.